Ah, Rolling Stone is kind of crowning Jack Harlow as the next king of hip hop. And I wanted to choose my words properly because we're actually going to delve into the article. This cover came out a couple of weeks back. Not a lot of people are talking about it, but one of the things that made my antennas go up is this meme or just post that keeps going around. I think initially it was Complex that posted it, but when Kendrick released his album date, they have this lineup for the next 4 weeks of hip hop, talking about it's going to be a crazy 4 weeks, and it says Pusha T, 422, Future, 429, Jack Harlow, 5'6", and Kendrick Lamar, 5'13". And I'm like, and people even in the comment section are like, ain't nobody really checking for Jack Harlow like that. And I remember seeing Jack Harlow got, on the Rolling Stone cover. We talked about it in our previous show. And this whole watch the throne thing, or going for the throne, excuse me, made me want to open up the book and really delve into the article. And I found some interesting things in the article. If y'all don't mind, we're gonna go through it. And stop me at any point, and we can stop and discuss. But I think these things need to be broken down because a lot of the times agendas get hidden within text because they know a lot of people ain't reading this stuff.
So, before you go in on the article, I do want to preface it by saying that I think that you agree with my sentiment that I'm about to express. This is a macro look at how corporate appropriation happens.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Oh, I thought you had more to say.
No. I do have more to say, but that's just the preface of it. This is like what corporate appropriation looks like in the hip hop sphere on a macro level for somebody like a Rolling Stone with the tone, the sentiment, and the just, oh, you seen the article. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, we're gonna get into the article right now. Okay, Jack Harlow is a heartthrob and a budding superstar. He wants a lot more. And this is written by a gentleman named Brian Hyatt. Let's see, where do I start? You know what? I think I'm gonna start here because it's a very lengthy article.
Okay, I was about to say, so I'm going to start with a couple things then, well, and you can go through that. One of the
Go
first
ahead.
things that I noticed, and this is where the appropriation starts, they start off very early in the article about name dropping Drake and Kanye
Yeah, I
to
saw
try to
that.
get some
The
credibility.
credibility.
That's part of how this appropriation thing works. It's like, well, no. Drake and Kanye said he was okay.
You know what that reminds me of?
Drake and
Never
Kanye
mind.
ain't even from the streets. They don't have no street cred.
That
Like,
reminds me of people saying, well, such and such says such and such is in their top five. Hey, if he were black, he'd be a Muhammad Ali. Let me get to this article.
what is that? He's already been, Mike. Here's the privilege. He's being cast as Woody Harrelson's character in the White Man Can't Jump
I was going to
remake.
get to that. Based on what?
Based on what? You know, Woody Harrelson is actually a brilliant actor and an accomplished actor. Before he took on the role of White Man Can't Jump, he was arguably on one of the 5 most successful sitcoms ever created in U.S. television history, and literally was the scene stealer of that show.
He was. All right, let me get into this article real quick. All right, so he said, the writer says, one of those shows raised money. I'm going to skip around because it's a whole lot. Basically, he followed Jack Harlow around his hometown in Louisville, Kentucky. So, one of those shows raised money to restore gazebos-like structures right here in Cherokee Park, the site of fond memories. It's a place where he grew up. Smoked a lot of weed in these things here, Harlow says, as he stepped out of the car early February afternoon. His white John Deere low top crushing is in fresh snow. We lauder here in this park when we didn't have nothing to do, but you had cars, you come out here, Harlow. Taller and more broad shouldered than he looked, say in a TikTok, wearing a light jean and thin black sweater, no jacket. Despite his icy air from the Ohio River, he slides his manicured hand into his pocket. You know, this writer, I don't know what his orientation is, whatever, but he seems like he has a thing for Jack Harlow in this article. Yeah, he's really gushing over the man, like the whole heartthrob thing,
So let's
the
stop. So,
freshly manicured hands. Where are we going with this?
so part of how this works on a macro level and how you create this is you have to edify them and make them into the sex symbol that you want them to be. So this is part of the process of that through the detailed writing of the writer, literally having to explain to you why this person is attractive, which is part of the problem. It's like, well, that just works the way everything else does. It's like, well, either you got that shit or you don't.
He's telling people this guy's a heartthrob. Like,
Right.
but see,
You don't have to
that's
tell
the
people
thing from this article that's very odd and it's all over the place. And you guys are gonna see this. It's like they're painting him as a lyrics first guy, but he's a heartthrob and he makes music for women. So it's a because they talk about Eminem and 8 Mile and his influence there. It's kind of like they're combining Eminem and Drake into how they want him to be presented, if that makes any sense.
Yes, and that's not fair. Like this is what I mean about how people control the narrative and stuff. When I found out that Tupac and Method Man and Nas were good looking and were heartthrobs, when my homegirls had pictures of her, or when I would talk about them, and you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, we just listening to the music. You ain't got to say all this shit.
Right, like the ladies are gonna determine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't gotta write it. They even gonna be like, that white boy sexy or he not.
All right, so they go blah blah blah. They're talking about when he had local fame, this and that, and this is where the part that you were talking about with Drake and Kanye. It says Harlow was already achieving some local fame back then, and now he's a budding superstar and vanquishingly rare white rapper with credibility, co-signed by two of his biggest heroes, Drake and Kanye West. This nigga can rap, bro, West wrote memorably on his Instagram before recruiting Harlow for a guest spot on Donda 2 and saying, nigga, I mean that as a compliment. Top 5 out right now. Okay. Last night, Harlow was up memorizing lines from his self-tape audition for an acting role that turned out to be a remake of White Man Can't Jump. They think I'd be a perfect fit for it, he said. He ends up getting the part, the one Woody Harrelson originally played. There's just something surreal about where I am in life, Harlow says. It's just crazy to think that you were walking on the sidewalks dreaming, and then you be living it.
No, that only happens to white people. This is what white people everybody welcome to what white privilege looks like. And I don't have a problem with white privilege. I want that same privilege and this same type of life that he's able to acquire so easily by being a moderately talented rapper. I want the same thing for my daughter should she be moderately talented at something. I want her to be able to become a multimillionaire and a heartthrob for being moderately talented at something in a sphere where she is not the predominant race. I would love that for her, but that's why they call it white privilege, because it's a privilege. It's not shared amongst the other races and classes. And this is it on the highest level. This is a white ass publication taking this white guy and expressing his whiteness, and people talking about me, why you got to call him a white boy? They call him a white boy.
They're highlighting his whiteness a lot.
They're highlighting his whiteness more than I am, so it's okay for the white people to highlight the whiteness.
Jay Short says Kanye corny for that. I agree with that. Yeah, because these are the sound bites that they gather, or Instagram bites or whatever that they gather to add credibility to something that might not have earned that credibility on its own. This is what I'm interested in seeing. I'm interested in seeing who's going to play the Sydney character in White Man Can't Jump. Because I bet you it ain't going to be somebody who ain't never acted before in their life.
These are facts.
What's his acting resume looking like? You know what I'm saying? They said you were going to be perfect. They say you're going to be perfect for the Woody Harrelson role. Based on what?
And who's Wesley Snipes' character?
That's what I'm saying. That's the Sydney character. Who's playing Wesley Snipes' character?
Okay. Yeah, I bet you it's going to be a classically trained black actor.
Yeah.
Bet you. Yeah.
Probably British. Let's be real.
Probably.
Well, let's go on. Because it's a whole lot.
It's a lot.
It's
very problematic. It's very problematic what they
Very problematic.
And understand, and this is what I mean about the corporate appropriation of it. Well, they only step into this sphere when it behooves them financially. So in him, they see financial gain behooving them, and therefore the appropriation starts. Because it starts with the root of evil. You know, it starts with the money aspect of it and their ability. And this is what I mean. They're literally waiting in the wings for white guys like this to prop up ever since Eminem, to put them in the machine to try to make them into something they're not. Because there's even a Mac Miller reference in here. So there's
a lot of there's a Mac Miller reference in here that's kind of disrespectful.
It is.
And there's also a Macklemore reference in here too.
Right. So,
yeah.
Mike, what that is? That's like literally robbing a convenience store and walking out with the gun in your hand and wondering why everybody's calling you a robber. We just robbed the store and you got the gun in your hand. You keep showing that you're only concerned with trying to prop these white rappers up into Eminem's sphere that he, like we're going to probably end up having to talk about, unfairly got placed in.
Well, the thing is, you know, they saw what worked with Eminem. And I mean, when I say they, I mean like the major publications and the major outlets. And, you know, they do this for all artists when it comes to marketing them. But marketing a white rapper has become one of those things on a mainstream level where they have to look at what has worked and what hasn't worked. And either way, it's going to really come out very formulated. And I think there's some elements to what worked with Eminem that they're clearly using here. I see them using the credibility thing a lot. They even talked about DaBaby and Tory Lanez because he had them on a remix of What's Happening. And he separated himself from them two in this article and also, you know, made sure that he said that he was supporting Megan. We're going to get to all of that. I think this part of it's the credibility part that they're adding on to it. So, said Harlow sounds at times like he's emerged from a very low-powered time machine. He references rappers in their 30s and 40s way more than his actual peers, as if he's gunning to conquer the rap world of the 2010s or so. He focuses on lyrical prowess, meanwhile, feels like a throwback of any earlier era. He wanted to make a direct claim to the hip-hop throne, which would arguably make him the first white rapper to do so since Eminem. Eminem was on the throne? Okay, it's news to me. The late Mac Miller was great, but wasn't into proclaiming it.
Stop right there. Can we stop right quick?
Yeah.
Why in their throne are there only Eminem and Mac Miller and now Jack Harlow involved? You get what
I thought this was hip-hop, right?
This was hip-hop.
Is this white hip-hop here and black hip-hop here, or is this hip-hop?
Do you see how contrived this article and this perspective is from the white side of things?
Yeah.
It's very, very narrow, and there's nothing about it that's really hip-hop. Nothing about this.
When they said be the first rapper to which would arguably make him the first white rapper to do so since Eminem. All right, let me break that down real quick too, man. When did Eminem actually have the throne of the rap world? Because there's only one throne, right? We're not living in this world where we're talking about, you know, we're calling everybody goats and all that shit. There's one throne. And there's one hip-hop, right? What year was Eminem on the hip-hop quote-unquote throne? Y'all want to say 2002? Fine. When all those movies was out with, you know, 8 Mile and all that. But go ahead, Coop.
I mean, no, it's very simple.
I think Jay was still running shit then. Jay and Nas was still running shit then.
One life, one love, so there can only be
one king.
Come on now. When he ever been king, really? to anybody that like, and this is what I mean. Rolling Stones words don't matter in this sphere. So you see how they prop up their importance in the sphere. It's like, oh, well, we have a say so in the throne. No, you don't.
2002 is what people are bringing up. Brian says, LOL, Eminem was on the throne. DeCarlo says 2002. If y'all want to give him 2002, I guess I'm okay with that, even though I slightly disagree. But what was the hardest song in hip hop in 2002? Made You Look was. Yeah.
Made You Look 2002. I thought that was 03.
Nah, that was 2002 because 50 came in 03.
That is right.
Grinding was running the streets in 2002. So we talking about hip hop, right?
Made You Look and Grinding came out the same year.
Yeah. What Eminem songs are in that mix in 2002? I'm just saying.
Hold on. So you're telling me the Godson came out that year and Eminem was king?
Yeah. Godson came out that year and Lost Tapes, right?
And Lost Tapes?
Yeah.
But Eminem was king.
See, that's why he can't even be nice. Because I was being nice by giving Eminem 2002.
I'm not.
And that's not true.
Not over Godson and Lost Tapes. This is hip hop, right?
The Fix came out in 2002 as well.
I told you I would give it the face when we had this conversation about the Fix.
Yeah.
Right. And then Godson and Lost. No, I mean, on a personal level, he would be no higher than third, and I would probably slide him even behind Jay in 02 and put him 4.
I got people in the chat saying Nelly in 2002. Okay.
What did Nelly do in 2002? 2002 not Country Grammar?
No, 2002 was Hot in Here and Dilemma, and if we talk about the hits, if we talk about numbers.
If we talk about numbers, Mike, I still think Country Grammar is his biggest seller. If I'm not mistaken, Country Grammar did like 6 or 7 mil.
But his biggest songs, his individual songs,
I mean,
was Dilemma and Hot in Here.
No, what I'm saying, if I was going to pick a year for Nelly, I would pick, when did Country Grammar come out? 99?
Yeah, it was 2000.
2000?
Yeah.
I would pick that year for Nelly over 02, truthfully, because EI and Country Grammar are better records. And like,
Ride With Me, too.
Ride With Me, yeah. Air Force Ones, yeah.
Air Force One's a little down the line. That might have been 2002, yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So,
well, damn, it might be 02 for Nelly too then, because like Air Force Ones was a thing. Yeah, Nelly had a nice little run.
So Harlow continues and says, "That's what made M so hard. He was in the dog pile." Harlow says, "I want to be the face of that shit, like the face of my generation for these next 10 years. We need more people in my generation that are trying to be the best. And you can't do that with your ear candy vibe records. You got to come out swinging sometimes. My shit is much more serious. Right now, my message is letting motherfuckers know I love hip hop. And I'm one of the best in my generation. You can't do that with being nonchalant like, I got the bitches in a clever way over and over again. I got to dig deeper this time." Who is he talking? Okay.
I like
the mentality.
I'm about to say I like his mentality.
I love it, but it's being given to him though. Like,
and notice when I'm talking about this article, well, we haven't really said anything bad about him. It's what's being given to him and how it's being given. We really don't have a problem with him like that. It's what's being given.
Well, this is the thing. When you get a lot of help to be the best like that, it's going to be a lot easier for you to be the best. And you know what? He wants it. I'll give him that. He wants it. He wants to be the face of hip-hop for the next 10 years. These are his words. And you know what? If that's what he wants, publications like Rolling Stone are going to make sure they can do whatever they can in their power to help him achieve that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly why he's sitting here in the middle of a Kendrick release date and a Future release date. That didn't happen on accident. They slid him right in between two of the most important artists, individual artists of this or the previous generation, if you want to say he's this generation. Slid him right in the middle of it. He wants to be the face of hip hop in the next 10 years. He said that for the next 10 years, not in the next 10 years.
And let's just address it on some rap shit, Mike. Well, it's dropping the same day as Black Star.
Well, I think it's a couple days late. However, they're working out, but yeah, it's that same week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
dropping the same week as Black Star, but that's getting totally ignored by the
right,
mainstream media, and we're sliding Jack Harlow in here
right. So people,
when Black Star ain't released the album in 24 years.
right.
That should be a hip hop holiday.
Right. So people need to be less concerned with my musical critique of not calling Black Star's first album a classic and more concerned that Black Star isn't getting the coverage that you all desire for Black Star right now. And he is one of the main reasons why, because his rollout is happening right
Right
when
on
they're
top of their shit. Right on top of their shit.
That's for everybody that loved Black Star in here that's been getting on me because I wasn't calling their album a classic because it's still not a classic. But guess what's happening to this group that you love so much that only released one album that people have been telling me are so important to this culture? They are literally being overshadowed by all of this pub for a 24-year-old white rapper who made one mid album.
Let me go back real quick because he said all right, this what makes him so hard. He was in the dog pile. I want to be the face of my shit. And so he said, look, like face of my generation. I don't feel like Eminem ever really wanted to be the face of hip hop in his generation. That was beyond his abilities. The face of that generation, if we talk, where's Eminem's era, right? He came out in 99 and he fizzled out in 2002. So we talking about a 3-year period, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, a 4-year period, whatever. That's Jay-Z. He wasn't the face of this shit.
Jay-Z, DMX.
Yeah, that was DMX.
Nelly.
Yeah.
Like, I could go
But
through
if you talk about the early 2000s in hip-hop, that's Jay-Z. It is what it is.
Luda popping up right then too. Like, it's
I mean, people could argue that M was bigger than, some of the people you name. But he wasn't bigger than X in 99, and he wasn't bigger than Jay-Z in 2000, 2001. Not in this hip-hop shit. The records don't support that.
No, they don't.
The records don't support that.
We can just, it doesn't. There's no evidence once again.
So another cosign here. Drake showed up at Harlow's concert in Toronto last year and invited Harlow back to his house afterwards. Harlow had just one thing that he needed to ask him, though he keeps, though he's keeping whatever answers he got to himself. Towards the end of our time, I just wanted to keep it real, says Harlow. Like, you're familiar with what I do. You came to my show. Like, you're up to speed. He knows what's going on, so how can I get better? I mean, that's his advice from Drake. He didn't give the answer, but I would imagine that the answer Drake would have given him, continue to attach yourself to up-and-coming artists that already got some hot shit going on.
Not even that. This is the writer. This is the writer once again who's being paid to attach more credibility to the artist that really doesn't relate back to the musical output. Keep saying, "Well, Drake told me to do this, and it's going to make me better." That's trying to give him more credibility as an artist again.
Well, he wouldn't reveal exactly what Drake told him.
Right.
He just revealed that he asked Drake what's going to make him better.
Yeah,
like Drake has some secret sauce. There's two things that Drake could have, I say there's no shade. Two things that Drake could have told him. Collaborate with younger artists or get ghostwriters.
But no, the whole fact that it's getting mentioned in the article is really more. Yeah. There's a point behind it. Yeah, it is. Because really Drake has no business really being a part of this article.
No, for real. It's credibility. Like you said, you're attaching yourself. They're attaching him to two of the biggest artists. I mean, I would say of this era, this generation holds super high. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And two artists that have had a back and forth. So algorithmically, that brings eyeballs to this article anyway. Mm-hmm. We are in the digital era. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh, this is the part where, because I know that Rolling Stone got on Nas for being misogynist. This is the part where Jack Harlow is, I guess his sex appeal is in play here too, where he turned a lesbian girl straight.
Right.
So it said, as Harlow himself points out later, the current scene in the penthouse is highly reminiscent of yet another one of his songs, "Already Best Friends," especially the last verse, where he sketches out flirtatious conversations with two young women. Right now, two 20-something-year-old women are in fact hanging with Harlow in his penthouse living room. One, Tiara, who is a waitress at a strip club, who describes herself with a laugh as a 26-year-old legend, once appearing in a video by a local hero, Bryson Tiller, and she pops up in several Harlow videos as well. The other, Sierra, is a manager at a car rental chain with a collection of tattoos she conceals from her coworkers, including brand new ones on her thighs and early today. Okay, where are we at? Harlow himself has zero tattoos. I'm an evolutionary person, so doing something permanently imitates me. And I like the thought of being an actor and having no limitations on that. Acting is already like in his sights.
He's not
Somebody
even
took
focused
like,
on his rap career anymore.
yeah, he's already going to the acting shit. Like, look, we're not getting no tattoos. I ain't got to do what these other rappers do. Look,
Right. He,
yeah.
see, he knows that he's privileged and he's feeding all the privilege. Like, so I think, well, you're probably going to get to it where he talks about turning down all these features, but he's accepting the little Nas X feature. It's like, come on.
I seen that, man. I seen that. I was gonna say with this,
Me
it
too.
kind of reminds me of Lil Dicky. He's kind of like, I think Lil Dicky was another one that they tested out and see how far it could go with the little goofy shit. But this is more of a we're
Four.
gonna push a Lil Dicky with a quote unquote sex appeal.
He's 24.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, where are we at? Okay. This is where it's at. Mostly Harlow hangs back and encourages his friends to talk. Blah blah blah. Where are we at? Then again, a lot of the conversations end up being about Harlow himself, and he doesn't mind. To everyone's vast amusement, Sierra reveals that Harlow played a major role in helping her redefine her sexuality. That's gonna be that's gonna be the cover line. Jack low key changed my sexuality. Harlow says. They first met when Harlow shot his shot at her right on the street during a drunken night at Louisville's bar a few years back, when she identified as lesbian. He's so cute, Sierra told Tiara at the time. He looked like the girl that I date. Now she dates men exclusively. I completely retired from being lesbian, she says. For the record, she emphasizes that Harlow can't take all the credit. So this man is such a heartthrob, he's turning gay women straight.
And how convenient is it that she's around when he's being interviewed by Rolling Stone for this rollout in this article? How convenient is it? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like when I'm reading this article, it's probably on so many levels. It's so many levels to it. So how can we? So let me get this right. Rolling Stone's coming into town.
Right, right.
And it so happens that in your penthouse when Rolling Stone is coming in, that a lesbian who you turn straight is there.
Yeah.
And another beautiful woman who works at a strip club and that has been in music videos is also there as well. And literally they are trying to flaunt you as a sex symbol on the cover and keep talking about how beautiful you are pretty much throughout the course of this article.
This is rolling. So the credibility of a magazine that's been around since the 60s is writing shit like this.
You see how trash this is? Like, and I feel bad for him because, you know, this is how the white privilege plays in his favor for him to win, but why he's never going to get the credibility that he's talking about that he wants. And that's why I feel bad for him. Well, guess what? You don't get that credibility doing this white privilege interview with this white privilege organization with these white privilege standards and these white privilege ways in a black sphere.
Well, it's definitely going to help in the pop world, but yeah, it's not really going to help too much in hip hop. And the fact that she said that he looked like a woman that she dated or something, I was like, I don't know where she's going with that, but
Problematic.
I guess they're trying to get him catered to all audiences, all lives matter.
I guess he's going Prince on them already, androgynous.
Okay. I promise, guys, I'm almost done with this, but I think we need to break stuff like this down. Okay, here's the part you were talking about. Since then, Harlow, who didn't even wash his face for most of his life, has had such a remarkable glow up. I'm a late bloomer. I didn't peak in high school. I'm still out here getting cuter. He said that. He rapped about his his highest profile moment so far last year on the guest verse with Lil Nas X, Industry Baby. Harlow, by the way, had been hesitant to accept guest feature slots on pop songs. He says, "You won't believe what I've turned down because this pocket we've got right now is so fragile, man. I've turned down so much shit that would have been such a big bag, but but he's enough. I'm sorry, but he's enough of Lil Nas X fan that he signed on without hesitation." Only to find that Nas' handlers wanted to cut Harlow's verse in half in order to shorten the song for the algorithm. He had taken the case directly to Nas himself, Nas X that is. "I don't want no 8-bar novelty hip hop feature on this," Harlow recalls telling him. "Fuck the algorithm." Yo, Harlow bossed up on Lil Nas X. The visual I get from that description, he walks up in the office like, "No, I'm talking to the man himself." Kicks down the door. "Y'all not gonna cut my verse."
Right. So now, so now they are trying to see. Now he's been feminized by the woman, and so now, as a writer, now you have to give him his masculinity back.
No.
This is part of it.
That's and what he did it for the love of hip hop.
Right.
And the love of bars.
Right. Like he talking like he got a track from Alchemist and Gibbs, like or something like no, I want to be like no. It's a Lil Nas X record. You see what I'm saying? How they played this whole thing? It is
like no. I need my extra 8 bars.
Right.
I don't even know what he said on the record. You know,
this Lil Nas X record is gonna speak to the streets and to the core of hip hop.
Okay. Harlow quits. He quit drinking last year. Okay. Let me go to another page because I know people will probably get restless with this whole thing, but there is a part that I do want to get to that rounds this whole thing out. His beard is devilishly perfect. Each of his earlobes is studded with chunky diamonds. Yo, this writer has a thing for Jack Harlow. He sorted out his hair situation, though he's always been scared of going bald like his dad. And even before the world seen his new muscles, I'm not reading all this shit. Let me get
to problematic. The whole article, the whole thing. No. Can I highlight a couple things?
Go ahead.
They say in this article, "Who the fuck is the white boy?" They say in this article, "So you're white." Like they keep highlighting his whiteness in this article, and then they try to, and this is what I mean about they try to hit you with that slight credibility push before he starts talking about how 8 Mile made him rap.
Yeah,
my mom played Tribe in PE.
I was gonna get to that. Yeah. Let me get to that part real quick.
Go ahead.
Because that part I found offensive, but whatever.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Okay, Harlow got an early start, both in his long life. On both of his long life interests. When he was a kid growing up in rural Shelbyville, about 30 miles east of Louisville, on a patch of land with 2 horses, Buster and Mojo, he asked his parents for Barbie dolls. Oh my God. Their first thought was like, is he gay? Says Harlow, whose family moved to Louisville when he was in 3rd grade. Then I started undressing the Barbie dolls. He's not gay. Come on, guys. All right. It took slightly longer for Harlow to latch on to rap. His mom played Public Enemy and A Tribe Called Quest around the house. Get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here. What are we doing here, man?
So, I have family from Ohio, so I crossed through Kentucky. My dad is from Youngstown, Ohio. My dad's side of family is from Youngstown. And I at times have had family in other places in Ohio as well. So I've been through, this area, this neck of the woods that he is from. Ain't nobody playing no damn Tribe Called Quest and Public Enemy up there where he's from. Get me. I just
And I know plenty of white people listen to Public Enemy and the Tribe Called Quest. I just thought that those two names were very convenient.
it's too convenient,
It's too
Mike.
convenient.
Shelbyville.
But his
Okay.
dad sang at their wedding, and he was more of a classic rock and country guy. So you got both elements here. But in Jack's elementary school days, he was his little brother Clay. They were more interested in superheroes, Star Wars, and Harry Potter. I wake up in the morning and dress up, blah blah blah. I want to get to that last part of this section though, where he is talking about the Macklemore. And no, I want to get to this real quick too, right before I get to the last one. I want to talk about that Tory Lanez. So he had that situation where his DJ got caught up in something, and they asked him about that, and he was able to kind of do a no comment type of pivot and all that. But here it is. The most serious incident that Harlow's career involved is his former DJ, what is it, Ronnie Locino, aka Ronnie O'Bannon, who was accused of killing a woman at a nightclub last May. O'Bannon's lawyer has said it was self-defense. With the criminal charges in the lawsuit pending, Harlow can't say much about that one. He said, I was down for weeks off of that. He says, it's definitely one of the darker things that I've ever faced. Tory Lanez and DaBaby both appear on 2020's What's Poppin' remix before each faced deeply tarnished reputations. Lanez has been charged with shooting Megan Thee Stallion, and DaBaby unleashed homophobic remarks. Harlow faced pressure to remove them from the song, which never made sense to him, especially since the incident happened after they recorded with him. He said, I know I'm a good person. He says, after a very long pause, my character, my integrity are very important to me. And I think I've done such a good job of that now, I'm being forced to answer for other people's actions. It doesn't feel right as a grown man to speak for other grown men all the time. One thing for sure is that Megan got shot, and I wish her nothing but love and respect.
That's his way of saying is I can't afford to be a white boy in the spectrum and alienate any black people. Therefore,
I'm with everybody. I'm not taking them off the song.
Take this Obama answer.
And, I know Megan got shot. I'm not saying she didn't get shot. And I wish her nothing but respect and love. Everybody's happy.
They'll take this Obama answer.
That was super political. Super. Okay, last paragraph, and we're going to get on to something else, man. This was the part that I thought was wild. So Harlow is too aware of one of the cringiest moments in rap history. Whoa. Macklemore's moment with Kendrick's one of the cringiest moments in hip-hop history? Okay. One of the cringiest moments in rap history. When Macklemore not only apologized to Kendrick Lamar in 2014 for positively deranged decision by recording Academy to give him Best Rap Album. That's disrespectful. They said that the Recording Academy at the Grammys was deranged to give Macklemore Rap Album of the Year. Now, come on, man. What about all those times that Eminem won Rap Album of the Year? Anyway, deranged decision to give the Best Rap Album to Thrift Shop instead of Good Kid, Mad City. But also posted his text to Lamar online. I vividly remember that moment, and I vividly remember the reaction, Harlow says. Yeah, that's hip-hop history right there. I don't have any criticism of it. Of course you don't. Because you never know how someone felt in a certain moment. And what's scary about the internet is you make an impulsive decision and they live on forever. For his part, Harlow is comfortable with gunning for the best in his generation slot. But does he have the right to do so as a white man in a black genre? This is the question I've asked myself, he says. But at the end of the day, people could ask, is it right for a white person to rap? But see, I have an innate passion for rapping. So they don't ask me that question. There's a competitive side of this, and honoring the competition makes it even more real in hip hop instead of me saying it. He
Mm.
affects a wimpy voice. Hey, I shouldn't have won that. He returns to the Macklemore moment. That's why they didn't like the text, because it's even more I'm not as hip hop as you, as you know what I'm saying. Harlow smiles. I'm saying I love this shit so much that I'm gonna go out on the court and play as hard as you're playing, he says. And we're not gonna discuss if it's okay. Let's play ball. It's past 1 a.m. In a few minutes. Sierra and Tierra will rejoin him. The movie rolls on. I'm here to play ball. Unapologetic.
It was boring too.
Yeah, it was. And I apologize for that, guys. I know that was boring the shit out of you guys. But I think that's interesting, though, when we talk about the fact that he wonders if. Well, he's trying to play that card like, can white people rap? Of course, white people can rap. I
See, but
think what
it's
we're
the fact.
speaking to is just, like you said earlier, the advantages that you're getting over other MCs just off the jump.
Yes.
And, it's easier for you to go out there and be the face of hip hop for the next 10 years if that's what you want. You got a lot of help to help you accomplish that, i.e., Rolling Stone.
Yeah, that well, that's the thing about it. That's why I'm saying it's like, well, if you're trying to be the face of hip hop, you're in the wrong place talking to the wrong people.
Well, there
You
it
know,
is. But who's going to talk to him about these things?
I'm sure he'll hear this.
But I'm just saying, who's going to write up? Well,
I'm sure
let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it
he's
all
got
the way
black
real.
friends. He's got black friends. Somebody's gonna get this to him.
No, what I'm saying is XXL, Complex, Rolling Stone, whoever you want to invoke, Hip Hop DX, even though they do a good job, these aren't outlets that are owned by people who are of the culture like that. They hire on people who are of the culture. So,
Right.
with that being said, at any given moment, he can go to any of these outlets and express these same sentiments and is going to get the platform to speak because it's owned by people who want you to win.
But for what he wants to win at, well, he's gonna have to let the music do the talking,
That's
and
where we're at right now.
that has not happened yet.
And
So
that's where we're at right now. And when he drops the album in 2 weeks, because he's dropping in between Future and Kendrick. And I know people want us to talk about GQ having Future on the cover,
free,
best rapper alive.
free dance,
Yeah, huh?
free dance.
Listen, man,
Well,
I'll be real quick about that. I don't really have a problem with that title when it comes to Future. Do I
I
think
don't.
that bar for bar, Future is gonna out rap everybody in the world? No, no.
No,
But
no,
do I
no.
think that for all that he's accomplished and all he's contributed to hip hop and the hip hop sphere, and let's just keep it real, everything that he's contributed to Drake in the past 5 to 10 years, and that's somebody that people want to say is the best rapper of the generation, whatever, on a mainstream level. Yeah, why not? His contributions are one of a kind.
He's had a very special career
Mm-hmm.
and was one of those people that you really didn't see coming. And even when he came, didn't think he was going to have the kind of career that he's ended up having. Do I agree with the greatest rapper alive or whatever it is? No, but I get what they're trying to say about his contributions that need
Right.
to go recognized.
At the end
Yeah,
of the day, it's earned shit.
you be rocking the way too sexy on Future. Come on.
I mean, look, like I told you offline, would anybody have a problem if Drake was on the cover of GQ and it said best rapper alive?
Not at
Because when
all.
we sit here and look at the most successful stuff that Drake's done in recent time and stuff that actually connected, Future's involved. Future's own life is good. Future's on way too sexy. Future and Thug on D4L.
Mhm.
These are the records that Drake needed. Drake ain't got no hits by himself like that, and we're about to see what Future's about to drop this Friday. And somebody asked earlier, are we going to talk about it Friday? Of course we are.
I didn't love his last album, so I'm hoping for a more concise project
I
from him.
think that he's coming with some rap shit now. I mean, because he really hasn't done a rollout like this in a minute. He usually
Yeah.
just drops.
Does it feel like he's rapping again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whatever he was
or
doing,
whatever he does.
whatever it is that he did to get here, I feel like he's about to probably do again because he's actually low key he hasn't been having like a Lil Wayne type of resurgent run, but he's been having a nice little. He's been coming. He's been coming through lately. Yeah, Future been coming through.